Hey everybody, all my viewers and people that think I'm worth watching, I appreciate you very much. Thank you. Because that's where you grow, and when you're grateful for those things, you're telling the universe you understand that that's your karma, and it will stop happening to you.
Welcome everyone to the Jonathan Wright Show with your host, Jonathan Wright.
Common sense to me says that we completely abandon the vaccination
Let's work together.
Let's stop these evil Nazis. When you fully receive the gifts of each moment and the beauty in all that surrounds you, life gives you more of these. Make the most of every moment. Being present and mindful reminds us of the fleeting nature of life and pulls us to feeling gratitude for every blessing we are given. Mindfulness teaches us to accept ourselves and all our emotions, to feel them, to let our thoughts pass through the mind objectively, all while being consciously aware. To live in a state of enlightened mindfulness is to just be. How do I unmute now? I muted you, but how do I undo that?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Yes, I can hear you.
Wow, dude. For your listeners right now, if you don't know, am I the only one experiencing technical difficulties on every level?
No, I mean, it's been doing it to me. I just got my internet fixed yesterday, and it was like a little part, but I had to skip the show on Thursday. I had zero internet all day Thursday, nothing. So, no, and then now, I mean, can you hear me now? Is everything smoothie and going? Oh, okay, now you're muted. You muted yourself. Or maybe I muted you. I don't know. There we go.
This is outrageous.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. I was streaming last night. I got kicked off of almost every platform. I'm struggling to go back and forth to get it all back on, right?
Wow.
And then they finally just totally wiped me out and hit me with a copyright strike. I appealed it, and as soon as I got all my streams down, they turned around and I won the appeal. But what good's that? What good is that? What good is that if you're trying to communicate a message to the world?
Yeah. Nothing.
You know,
we can't use any of these platforms. None of these. I mean, to the best that we can.
I don't talk hate. I don't talk violence. Okay. My message is filled with hope. Okay. I don't understand, man. Ever since they launched this silent barker, everything's been buggy. Everything. And if you guys don't know what silent barker is, it's NROL 107. It's the latest NRO, National Reconnaissance Office satellite that just went up. Okay. This is the one that when in the beginning of the I Pet Goat 2 video, you see the white hat holding the dog on a leash. They didn't even talk about white hats back in 2012, 2011 when that was released. Okay. You got the white hat holding the dog on the leash. I can't get this right, man. I want this to look different on my screen, and I can't set it up right. Window. Why don't I see myself? Can you see me? Because I don't understand this.
Yep, I see you.
All I see is you. I don't see me.
Well, no, but yeah, I see you fine. You're right in the center, and yep, you're right. You're nice and clear, and we can hear you. So everything works good. Maybe you're.
So then I'm going around. I'm like, I'm going on Jonathan's show tomorrow, and let me go and see what the last show looked like. So I go over to Odyssey over there. Your account's gone. On Odyssey, you can't get access to any of your videos. Well, I'm not lying to you, brother. You cannot get access to any of your videos on Odyssey, okay? The only way I was able to find our video from our last recording was through BitChute.
Really? Have I been banned? Because
I don't know, but this is what I'm saying to you. I've tried to research different topics. All the material online is missing. I'm telling you guys, we are under attack. They're closing the noose around our electronic necks.
Yeah, that's for sure true. Yep, I'll agree with that. I'm at my page, but that doesn't mean anything, especially if it was a shadow banning.
There's videos.
Which makes sense because all my shit has 12 and 15 and 20 views, and it's like, dude, I know more people than that give a shit about what I'm saying. 20.
Right.
That's also the people I've emailed it to. So that's probably where that number's coming from. And then there's no one on Odyssey's watching me. I don't believe that. So yeah,
listen, I had an account that me and you aren't I follow you on Odyssey, right? So I went in there without an account and I went in there with an account, and your page shows up, but if you click on it, none of the videos arrive. They're all gone.
So I've been shadow banned.
You've been shadow banned. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
And this isn't the only thing, man. There's all kinds of other stuff going on. Like, you were talking to your viewers a little bit about today's date and the significance of it. You know, we got a lot of people over there watching the Seed Conference. I was checking in with that throughout the day. You know, like, there's people out here that are trying to get this message to people that there is hope, that there is true freedom, that there is true love in this existence. You know, like, we are stuck in this reincarnation trap prison matrix, okay, where we keep coming back through and they keep utilizing all of their powers against us. They just want to feed off of our energies in so many ways. You know, like everything that I do, Jonathan, I do voluntarily. Like, I'm not receiving paychecks for this. You're not receiving paychecks for this. We're not over here advertising a bunch of products. We ask you to, like, you're asking a couple people to donate to this radio who allows you to broadcast. Like, Freedom Radio is like, it doesn't exist anymore. Back in the 80s and 90s, people had it.
yeah.
And then after William Cooper was executed for being a true patriot, after he was executed for being a true patriot, telling and spouting the truth, okay, making predictions about what the government was going to do next, they killed him. Okay, after that happened, everybody had to jump on the only bandwagon that was left, which was Alex Jones. Okay, you had the Art Bell circles, you had the other Midnight, the Caravan, the Midnight, and all the other things that were going on. People were still following a lot of stuff, but the stuff is evaporated. Like, people need to have your support. We need to have listener support for radio, for free, true freedom radio. And that's what we have over here at revolution.radio. Okay. So I check in with these chats over at the Matrix Revolutions. I check in with the different broadcasts that were going on. And as usual, Jay Parker was on right before us. Outstanding individual. If you don't know his work, go find his work.
Yep.
He's a true patriot. If there ever was a
and you can find him at One Great Work Network as well, where I am and where Rick also is and where John also is. We all are there, so that's another way you can go find Jay Parker.
Yeah, we're all over there. We're all over there. So, you know, like, the frustration levels through the roof. Technology has been failing. My internet was jumping in and out so much over the past couple of nights. I would be recording something or streaming something or doing or uploading or downloading, because I'm involved with Corey Enderlot over at nita.0.one, Nita.1, nature is the answer.1, right? And you know, like, I'm trying to upload these videos from our movie premieres for the Larkin Rose. If you haven't seen it yet, Jones Plantation, get over there and check it out, because the parallels between what was going on with slavery then and what's going on with slavery now is almost in alignment. Okay. There's not much comparison as far as the level of physical violence and abuse that occurred to the slavery back in the 1800s. Okay. But it's coming, guys. You don't see it, but it's all around us. So I'm trying to upload these videos, and every time I'm in the middle, I get about halfway through a 1 gigabyte file, and all my internet would shut down. Well, I'm going to be on the phone I utilize a service called Spectrum. That's southeastern United States. Spectrum is like a really big cable internet provider down here. And I'm going to be on the phone with them, and I want a refund for the entire month. You've interrupted my workflow on so many levels, I can't even concentrate. And I don't mean to come off this way to our listening audience, but, like, you guys, you should be angry. You should be getting mad, because I know I'm not the only one. I know everybody's experiencing this stuff.
Yeah, I had to calm myself down when I called, because I immediately was like, and I can hear myself. I'm pretty good at putting myself outside of how I feel, like how I want to talk, and I do a lot of times just talk that way, and then I go, damn, dude, you're being a dick. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if I was her, I wouldn't want to help you, and I'd. Ooh, and then it makes me, it's so much harder because then I have to nicen it up a little bit. Like I have to, so I always go through a spiel where I'm like, look, I know this isn't your fault, and I'm not trying to be mad at you. And then that gives me carte blanche to get a little bit angry. You know what I mean? Because I just can't help it when I start talking to these people, and it's just like, dude, I'm getting walked on over here, and I'm done. I'm done being walked on. So I'm sorry that you're the one that has to field this phone call, but I'm going to do my best to not be cussing and to not be mean. But like, I'm done. You know, and I've had to make like 5 of those calls in the past.
Right.
Oh, just whether it's been to a lawyer or I just, dude, so many things. And it's like these people, it's just like everybody has been compartmentalized so much into their little tiny bubble of whatever weird part of their world that they're in. That's all they know. That's all they do. And they don't, I mean, oh, well, you don't have this thing, or it's not perfect like this. My machine tells me it has to be like this. I said, yeah, but you're a human being and you can hear what I'm saying to you, can't you? They turned off my solar power on my house from a switch at the energy company because I called and asked them, hey, I want to switch it into my name, from my mom's name into my name. And they said, oh, that's going to take some doing. And I said, oh, tell me more. And they said, well, blah, blah, blah. It's going to require all this stuff and all that stuff. And they said, well, we'll send you the application. And I said, well, I'll think about it. They went ahead and shut off my power, my reader from my solar, and then now I call them. I'm like, why is it off? They're like, oh, we turned it off and we changed it to your name. Now you have to fill out an application, which is like 9 things. They want a W-9 form, IRS form from me. I'm like, oh, dude, no, none of this is going to happen. So I called and like basically, I don't know, dude, I leveled with this woman. I just was like, look, and a couple times I freaked the fuck out because I'm like, they are bullying me. They're lying to me, and they took action without authorization. I don't know what else to say here, but they're telling me they're not just going to turn it back over to the way it was. When I gave them no, so dude, yes. Sorry, I know that was a little long-winded answer, but yes. I've made these angry calls, and the best thing to do is to like, you got to moderate that anger. You can't just start. One woman, I actually let the F word fly, and she hung up within, I didn't even hear what she said. She went blah, 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 and then hung the phone up. I was like, well, all right, don't say F, don't use the F word. So anyway.
Yeah, so if you could take a moment to just drop a link into the chat for our viewers for Studio B over here. I can't get into it. All my passwords, everything has to be re-entered by hand again.
Oh,
like this,
dude.
Yo, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It's like they sent out some kind of a spike to me.
Right. They must have. They may have.
Yeah, I'm thinking, and I'm not the only one. Anybody that watches Dutch Sense, he's been down since the end of August. This is a guy that I turn to find out earthquake forecast. His last broadcast, the end of August, he was talking about weather modification. He was talking about how there was an earthquake right under one of their radar stations, and now he's not on anymore. And he's having technical difficulties. So they're sending spikes. They're trying to shut us down, all of us. Anyone who is involved with the disclosure of their agenda, this is what they're doing, guys. This is what they're doing. And you have to be, let me see here. I don't see the link. Did you send it to me?
Oh, no. What link are you? That's what I was just going to say. What do you want?
For the chat for the radio room.
Oh, you want the link for this chat. I got you.
Right,
I got you.
right.
Okay. I was like, I'm not sure what you want me to give you. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Oh, well, then that means I need to do it over here where we were actually talking.
I don't even.
Sorry. That's fine.
Man, I can't stand Skype. Skype's one of the worst ones out there. Skype.
Well, yeah,
Skype.
I mean, the reason they like it, I asked them about this at the radio station. They're like, well, they like it, and she's got 10 reasons, right? Willow, the one that kind of runs all this stuff and has to deal with all the whatever. For what it does, kind of like how Mark was saying, everybody was telling him that WordPress was so good and could do all this shit and blah, blah, blah. And he went, okay, I'll try it. And then it didn't do what he wanted to do ultimately. And he was like, brah. And so
Right.
That's their answer to why they do like Skype. It does everything they want to do. I don't know what all it is, but it does everything they want to do. That's what she told me. I was like, well, there's other platforms.
here's the other thing. There's no versatility there. So, you know, like I can't utilize it the way I want to utilize it on my end as a participant in the call.
Right.
So, and like, we don't want your viewers to have this thing turn into like, this is all about like our personal technical issues. No, guys, I want you to understand this is not a me thing or a Jonathan thing or a Dutch Sense thing. This is going on across the board. Across the board, people are having technical problems. And this is the realization that we're coming to, is that they are not allowing us to utilize these services to experience and bring this truth to you guys. That's what's going on.
Yep.
So I want you guys to know, where are you sending it to? Because I don't see anything.
Look at the chat on the lower portion of your Skype thing. There should be something that says chat, and it should have a little red dot next to it. It looks like a little window, a little speech bubble.
I see it. All right.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so, man. And I you know, like, and I don't want to make this about our personal, like I said, about our personal technical.
Sure, we are the ones on the radio show, though, so there's a little bit of that's going to be. I mean, it is going to. They're going to get some of the personal, but you know, it's not all entirely about that. Yeah, it's about the fact that this is happening. Other people, I'm sure, are experiencing this. Now, I mean, dude, we get into some hardcore stuff. I'd say, as far as the scale goes, you're probably more. Well, I don't know. You're into deeper, weirder, more offshoot kind of stuff than I am, but in a different way, in a different area. And so, yeah, but we're definitely neither one of us are floating around in the mainstream stuff. So we stand out like a sore thumb in the stream of things, because it's like, well, there's all these people looking at all this random garbage, but it's all kind of categorized under this one, let's say, color. And then there's our purple stream over here, where it's all supposed to otherwise be yellow and maybe green a little bit, and then we're purple. So they see that. They're like, damn, look at where they're looking. Look at everything they're looking at is weird and, you know, conspiratorial because it's truth, or it's you know, looking into the law or whatever. It's like they're not looking at Justin Bieber. And so what's wrong with these people, and what are they looking at? And if they look into it at all, we're like, oh, yeah, these people are clearly our problem. So, yeah, they'll mess with us. And I've noticed that, too. I'm like, damn, dude, for 2 weeks. Spotty internet, in and out, up and down. And then the guy comes out and he goes, oh, it's this little tiny piece. And now it works fine. Well,
yeah, after the issues that I had last night, I almost canceled with you today, because there's no way that I feel like I can't deliver the message correctly, because the message is being interfered with.
Right.
On such a high volume that it's just not even worth trying to do anymore. I feel like giving up. But I want you guys to know that I'm not going to. And like, you know, like what I was saying in the beginning about the money thing, like we're not over here asking people for donations or trying to sell a bunch of products on here. That's not what's going on. We're trying to bring you, we're taking time out of our life, out of our schedule to bring this information to you guys. You know, like, and we've talked about a lot of good stuff, and now you're locked up.
Yeah, you froze for a second, but you're back now.
Yeah, you froze too. See, we're taking time out of our busy schedules to try to bring this intelligence, this level of information to you guys. You know, so like, this is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever experienced online. And it's not just this. So if you go and you look at my most recent broadcast that I put out there today, New News Now channel CH 3.3 on YouTube, it's the only one I got left right now. I got to reconfigure everything. But yeah, everything's messed up. So, you know, you'll see that I was talking about there was a major blackout across the entire United States. Now, I'm not talking the electricity grid went down. What I am saying is that there's a site that you can go to that shows you the transfer of energy from one power energy provider to the next. Okay, it's a very simple looking map that has all the different electrical providers listed on it on the map. And you could see the transfer of energy. When energy's high in one area, it transfers to another area. Sure. And vice versa. It goes back and forth. And this map, I've been watching, I'm trying to learn how this map works and what it means for almost a year now. Wow. And it's very complicated. It's baffling. It still baffles me. But I'm watching this map and for the past year, and I've never seen what I seen this morning, 6 a.m. The last time I looked at it. I haven't looked at it since we've been on. but it was blacked out completely, which means that they're not reporting the transfer of energy from one location to another. This is very important stuff to be paying attention to, because we don't know what their next move is. Now, this is their weekend. They're celebrating this weekend. They're over here. They're having a grand old time celebrating. You know, and I know some of your viewers don't believe in the occult, which is fine. It's okay not to believe in the occult, but it isn't okay to ignore the fact that the people that are running our country, that are in charge of the resources and wealth and power and militaries and weapons and systems that provide us our food and our services that we desperately need as a species, they do believe in this occult. Okay, so it's important for us to pay attention to these things as they unfold around us. This weekend is their ultimate celebration, September 23rd. Okay, I showed you with the hand signs that September 23rd is what they've been working towards for generations now. They've been working for this weekend. This weekend is their big Heil Hitler. Okay, that's where they're at with this. They're declaring socialism, and they're announcing the incoming Antichrist into our realm. Okay, now it's not what you think it is. It's not the birth of the Antichrist. The Antichrist is already here, and he's walking around, and he's already been in power.
Clearly,
he's already been in power. Yeah. He's coming back to power.
Yep, I can see that.
So, you know, like, this is what's going on, man. It's a big celebration for them. I'm sure that there's sacrifices going on that we're not seeing, but we're in the middle of the Rosh Hashanah holiday, which is the 10 days of sacrifice and atonement, right? It's the false atonement. Atonement means at one ment, which means at one mind, for those that don't know, okay? So for us to come together as a collective, they have the false collective that they're creating. Okay, so they're taking the old Judaic holiday and they twisted it around to match their occultic practices. Okay, and they're going to usher in their quote unquote Messiah, and that's what's been going on. The phoenix of the satanic cult, for those that have been following this information. Okay, and some people know who that is, some people don't know who it is.
Yep. Yeah, I had Teresa Cesar on from Spiritual Gangsters. Oh, it's been a few weeks ago now, and that was right when this video came out. I can't remember the guy's name that put it out, but it was all about the ceremony of Prince Charles becoming King Charles and the coronation. Oh my God, dude, it was just. There was so much in there. He was just like, this guy is the Antichrist, you know, and here's why. And he just went through all this stuff, and there's so much. And I mean, to me, they'll do stuff like that to keep it like, well, we did all this stuff for this guy, and this guy clearly would be the Antichrist. But then, like, it's almost like, how many Bidens are there? They just found a Biden walking around behind some place with no Secret Service. There's footage of him, one of the actors that's supposedly Joe Biden. So, like I said, it's though the whole thing, everything is an act, dude. We're in a big theater.
Yeah, we are.
Ultimately.
Yeah, we are.
This is a big theater. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few days. And you know, I heard something also that these remote viewers were saying that something world changing is going to happen before the year's up.
Yeah.
And then you've got Alexa saying that there's not going to be a second election because there's going to be some big deal and the government is going to take some sort of martial law. And
I've said this to you in our previous broadcast, that the UN is going to come in and take over our country, take over control. And here's the craziest part. All the people that say, oh no, we're never going to do that and all this other stuff, they're wrong. Because they're going to open their arms and welcome these people onto our land, because they're going to be so desperate for assistance and help that's how it's going to unfold.
Yeah, that's how they'll always. Yeah, sure. They'll make us beg for it, right? Same with the going to the camps. If there's ever anywhere that they need people rounded up from,
they don't need to round people up. People will be terrified and want to go to a camp when there's no power or no water or no food. And this camp has power and water and food. Won't that be funny? It's just like, ooh, and they'll be like, if you can get here. And then it's like, well, maybe we'll send out a bus, but you better be there at the bus stop. And boy, people will be too. And sorry, this bus is full. And people will be hanging on the top and shit. And people trying to, they'll drive there of their own free will. And upon entrance, you have to be caught up with all your COVID vaccines and boosted. So if you've had 0, then you have to have 5. And then you can come in.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that there's going to be it's going to be so much worse than what anyone even can possibly imagine, and they're going to do it so sly and underhandedly. My belief is that within the next week or so, the markets are going to crash. There's going to be upheaval in New York City after this weekend as a result of the floods. The floods are coming. It's in my broadcast. I'll drop the broadcast in the link here in the chat for the viewers so that they can see. That's the broadcast right there, guys. I just dropped it in the Matrix link there for people over there at Element for people to see.
Yeah, I see it.
But it's an hour and a half broadcast. I break down the infrastructure of the dams. I break down the true occultic meaning of the word Ophelia. Okay, I kind of thought it was Lee, the way they had Lee just sitting out there spinning around in circles for a week and a half. They're going to have this storm that's over top of a lot of people's head on the eastern seaboard right now. It's designed to flood everything out. If there's a foot or 2 foot or 3 foot of water on the ground where you live, your sewers are backing up. Your water reserves are tainted and compromised. Your food and gas access is prevented. Okay,
Yep.
Electricity goes down, fires begin, and then they can come in with their weather weapons and do whatever they want to, the laser weapons and burn people out. These are the things we need to be prepared for. But they're coming to New York City, man. They're going to flood New York City, and then the markets are going to crash. The markets are going to shut down. The markets are going to crash. And then there's going to be some type of major false flag event that's going to occur right here on the United States soil, or just off the coast of the United States soil, I should say. Okay? Because Lee, I kind of figured it out, Jonathan. Lee was actually designed to pull away the sediment in the bottom of the ocean along the continental ridge that exists out in the ocean. Okay. So they've been pulling away the sediment and wearing away the bottom of the ocean floor so that this cliff, this Babylon, it's called Babylon, the cliff.
Yeah.
The cliff is in the ocean and the sediment's been pulled back. Now, this storm that's in our region now, the amount of weight and water that's falling in the area, it could push that continental cliff, it's called a shelf. Yeah. That shelf could drop. And if that shelf drops, even if it drops, a couple hundred feet, it would be enough of an occurrence out in the Atlantic Ocean off the East Coast, the Northeast Coast, to create a tsunami.
Oh, yeah.
A tsunami of 20 feet is enough to wipe out the city of New York.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So, you wipe out the city of New York, the markets are crashing, everything's going down. It's going to be you thought 9/11 was a big transfer of wealth. It's going to be the hugest transfer of wealth you've ever seen go down in American history. Yeah, that's what's coming.
Yep. Yeah, and it's crazy to think that they think on those levels of like creating storms to pull sediment in the bottoms of the ocean and stuff, and just think about that on that level. And like, it's all for sinister. Think about what they could be doing with these technologies if we had people that were like, wow, what if we helped people in this way? I mean, just think, you know what I mean? Like, holy crap. And that's why this can't last much longer, because I mean, it just can't last much longer. A destructive system, it on its own end is going to just be eating itself. It absolutely will just eat itself. and probably not a lot of people in the Matrix chat room are going to listen to this. This is a lot of the Revolution Radio folks, but Rick told me a couple times that don't judge who's listening based off of the chat.
Well, I just asked the chat room who's listening to.
I know, that's why I said that, because I'm like, probably not very many people.
I want to know if there's anybody even in this.
Right.
Like, am I monitoring this chat for no reason at all?
Right. I think so. At least on tonight. Now, I think when we do our show on Thursdays, because we moved from Studio B to Studio A, and I think there's nobody that we're competing with. And so I think that's I think more people are actually participating in the chat. Rick monitors it all the time. I never do. And then, I just stopped on this one because at this same time is a girl named Ivy, I guess, and she's had a show on here for a long time, and so it's like her audience right now. So, you know, for the Revolution Radio crowd, for the people on this chat. So it is what it is. But I know there's people listening out there. I know there's people listening all over the place right now. So we just don't have direct access to a whole lot.
Well, the other thing is they're hiding it. They're hiding it. I'll give you an example. The other day, I'm in my one of my accounts, and I'm looking at the numbers, and it said that I had 123 views on my recent release video. And then when I logged into my personal account, like, I was looking at it as if I was a viewer, okay? And then when I logged into my own personal account, I turned around and it said 75 viewers. Right. And it never went back up to the other number. So it's like, you know, they're fudging these numbers all around. We don't really exactly know how many people are watching our stuff and who has access to it.
Yep. That's true.
A lot of it's like what you were saying about the Odyssey account a few minutes ago. You know, like it's if you didn't send it to the person directly, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably
crazy.
not.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that makes sense, though, why those numbers are so low. Because, dude, like, my show has been taking off on Rumble, like, where I really, truly don't think I'm being censored on Rumble at all. When they do censor me, they'll take a video down for like a day or two. And they've done this with my most recent ones that I've posted with Joe Williams about the money stuff. And they'll take it down, I think, only just to watch it and make sure that I'm not, like, whatever, scamming people or putting out weird shit. And then they put it back up. And I was like, they didn't ask me or tell me. The video was gone for a couple days. And I was like, oh, what the hell? Rumble's just now censoring me. And I said to Brandon, I'm like, well, damn, they just took that down. He's like, really? Rumble did? Wow. He's like, it's up on YouTube still. And I was like, well, that's weird. And then 2 days went by, and then Rumble put it back up. And then, and again, it gets well over 100 views. And I never had any views at Rumble. And every video I used to post on Odyssey, everything I used to post would at least go to 100. Everything. Didn't matter what it was. Even if it was just me running my mouth for 3 minutes about something stupid, that'd get 100 views. And if I had something good, I could get 1,000. Or if other people would repost it, a few thousand. Right. And then that just all quit. I don't know. And of course I do post stuff about the Jews a lot. Different shows or talks or whatever, other people's whatever. And every single time I would post something that had to do directly with the Jews, that would either be banned or blocked, or my account would somehow mess up within that realm. That's always what it is. I don't know that that's exactly the only thing, but I know that it's always tied to something about that.
So I want you guys to understand, I'm not over here utilizing my phone. I'm not over here utilizing a Chromebook. I'm using now listen to my system. I want to break this down to you so you understand what I push with, what I'm streaming with, what I've invested in to bring this message to people. Okay, I operate a 12th generation Intel Core i9 12900KS 3.42 gigahertz with installed RAM of 64 gigabytes. Wow. This is no little project that I got going on over here. I've got a terabyte dedicated to dual cores. Wow. Okay, I've got 16 cores or 32 cores. I forget what it's up to now. But my system is not crapola from Walmart. Right. This is a custom built CLX. If you guys don't know anything about computer systems and you want to do a build, it's a great company to go to, CLX. I could not believe the amount of assistance and the options that were available to me to put this system together. This system, I should be able to generate AI images and stream and do video editing and do watching on 4K monitors throughout my entire house without any issues or problems. I might start running into problems with my GPU if I have more than like 4 or 5 4K monitors running. But there should not be any issues with my system. Why does my system crash when I'm in the middle of doing video editing? Why does my system crash in the middle? Like, I have clock speeds of 60 frames per second going out over these streams. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason that my system's a beast. It's a monster. Right. There's absolutely zero definition and zero reasoning behind my stuff crashing. Yep. Okay, this is not no Walmart system. This isn't ordered off of Amazon. This is a custom build, and I had tech people. A friend of mine named Afix that was the co-producer with me. He was the lead, the lead producer for streaming Mark Passio's content over there at What on Earth is Happening. He helped me build this system online, and then I ordered it with a price tag of $5,500. You know what I'm saying?
Bad. Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot, but that's not too terribly
It's a lot. But my assumption is because I don't just use this to bring the freedom message to people. I also utilize it to do services for other people through private agreements. Yeah. So I do earn money from this system at times. It's not a consistent thing for me. Yep. But it's something that does go on. So like my goal is to, just like when I was utilizing my older system, which was an i9, it was an Apple. I was in the Apple realm at the time. I utilized that system, and I think I paid $700 or $800 for a used i9 back. It was a 2013. I purchased it in around 2018, 19. Mark Passio helped me set it up with all the software that I needed at the time. He took time out of his busy schedule to help me out with all that. Yeah, that's cool. I dropped the computer off. He showed me a bunch of stuff, and we got it set up, and I took the computer back, and I was able to utilize it to do a lot of content creation, video editing, streaming, and but I utilized it for work purposes, helping people out with different projects and stuff, and that thing paid for itself within a year. Yeah. Now, absolutely. My assumption is that I'll be able to utilize this computer to pay for itself over the next 3 to 5 years. That's the goal. If you can do that, then you're heading in the right direction. Absolutely. But again, want to state it one more time. What you hear now through my voice and on Jonathan Wright's radio show here, this is not for profit. This is totally volunteer. So, like these systems and their ability to tap in and jump out. And then we've got the big event coming up around October-ish, the beginning of October. I don't even want to say it. The E.A.S. emergency, blah, blah, from the pred, blah, blah. I don't want to even say it because we'll probably get shut down right now. Right. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah.
You do. Everybody does, right? So everybody's like, oh, well, they're going to send out a high frequency, blah, blah. Like everybody's thinking, oh, I'm going to hide my phone. I'm going to wrap it in tinfoil and all this other stuff. What makes you think that moment in the day is any different than any other moment in the day that you're walking around with your 5G device in your hand? Right. What makes you think that moment is any more significant than any other moment that you're utilizing your technology? It's not. Okay. If they want to send some kind of a signal that's going to take the air out of your lungs, that's going to make your skin feel like it's on fire. If they want to do that, they can do that without it being a scheduled event. Trust me. They don't need your permission. They don't need to send a signal to, the EIAS services. They don't need to do that. And I speak the way I speak because they're watching.
Yeah.
If you put a picture up on any social media platform and it has words in it, or it defines certain things that the algorithms are looking for, okay, it will shut you down. It will turn you off. It will stop your stream. It's happened. I've literally seen this occur in front of me. So I want to change the tone of our discussion because I feel like we're on the defensive. I feel like we're defending ourselves and what we're trying to do here. And that's not what the purpose of this radio broadcast is. When you advertise your radio broadcast, Jonathan, it's to bring what?
Oh, some sort of sense of hope and realistically sense of freedom from a lot of different different angles. Better lifestyle, right. Absolutely.
Yeah, better lifestyle choices, exposure of their shit, right? But also the promotion of the good stuff. So let me tell you about some of the good stuff that has been going on in St. John's world in the past month.
Cool.
Right, since our last talk.
Yeah.
Corey Engerlot and I have been running around Central Florida, setting up movie screens and projecting Larkin Rose's latest release of Jones Plantation, which is about slavery in the 1800s. And it has a very, very intriguing twist of how it correlates to what is going on in our society today and where we're headed.
Cool. Very cool.
So we've been setting up the screens. He's been promoting. What an organizer, this kid. This young man. This young man is an amazing organizer of content. He's been putting out so much content. He averages, I think, 2 videos a day. I can't keep up with him. Nobody I know can keep up with him.
Yeah, I know. He's crazy. He
is out there. He's not just doing it online. Now we're in the process of reaching out to people in in the real world.
Yeah.
In real life. So having these movie screenings gives people an opportunity. We're invited back to Galt's Landing, Jim Gale's Food Forest Abundance down there. We're invited back to go there. He's been doing events in Tarpon Springs. We had something go on at a microgreens nursery the other day where we were involved with that. And you can find information concerning, if you're in the Florida area and you're interested, there's a Telegram channel. It's called Florida United. Okay. In other words, FU.
Yeah.
All right. What a concept he's come up with over there with FU, Florida United. And there's a lot of freedom-loving people sharing holistic information as far as natural remedies, natural living conditions, how to get involved with cooperative food forest building, right? Cooperative energy resource building, okay? Cooperative holistic care, okay? I want to pull up the flyer so that I can actually read the next event that's coming up.
All right.
It's going to be in the first week of October. I just want to get
if you
that
have
out.
that flyer, you should drop it in the Revolution Radio chat.
Yeah, I definitely can.
Even though people might not be listening to the show, they'll see that and they'll be like, "Ooh, that's cool."
Yeah,
because I know there's a bunch of people on there right now listening, but they're probably listening to Ivy because, like I said, I think this is just her. She has established herself as this time slot on this day, and that's okay. I'm really just doing this show to be able to, clearly for the reasons that we know that I am, but I'm not so concerned with like, oh, do I have 2 million people listening, or I don't want to do it then. You know what I mean? Like if there's 10 people listening, that's awesome. And I know there are. I know there's more than 10 too. They're just maybe not listening through the chat.
Well, that's fine because we do video record it and we also re-release it that way. We both do that.
Yep.
So
and
here's
I know
the flyer here.
Yeah, and I know people dig that. So yeah.
And I'll drop it in the other chat as well. But
okay.
Basically, as you can see, the flag, What's the flag that you see there?
That is the civil peace flag, just like the one flying behind me.
About that, right? So the idea is it's care about freedom, question mark. Network with others and learn everything from growing food, philosophy, paperwork, health, self-sufficiency, etc. We have several knowledgeable people sharing their amazing experiences to help you get out of the system now. A totally free event that requires nothing but your time and attention. You will learn strategies and tips regarding how to maintain your freedom while being in the system and what we need to do to get out of the system. Everyone will share their experiences and how to deal with the tyranny in various forms. There is absolutely no sales pitch. You may come from any political affiliation or not at all. Bring a dish, a friend, and any info of your own. So that's called collaboration, for those that don't know. For those that utilize these platforms and come out and say things like, we have this going on, we have that going on, but no, you can't bring your stuff. No, you cannot speak. No, you cannot get involved. These movie screenings that we were doing were very much along the same lines as what you see in this flyer. It's Friday, October 6th at Moonbury Mercantile and Trading in Tarpon Springs. If you arrive around 6 p.m., there's going to be featured speakers at 6:30 p.m. For any questions, you can email Corey. It's CORYE at disroot.org, or you can find him at theliberator.us. Okay, so
and he's got so much stuff. That dude is, I mean, you got to be ready for some information. He just goes and goes and goes I mean, he's just like a conduit of crazy information. That's like, it's just, he's a next level. Like you said, he makes 2 videos a day. And I don't think it's not because he's trying. It's just like he's got it in him and it needs to get out. So he's just sitting down and like doing this stuff. He's
and if you come
wealth of knowledge.
If you come at that young man with any kind of suggestions of monetizing anything or getting involved on any kind of levels like that, the answer is no. The answer is no. Not interested. Because this isn't about money. This isn't about financial wealth. This is about true wealth, true abundance, and how to get there. You know, me and Bob Akoff the other day were talking about the welfare system and how they were cutting WIC food stamps and all this other shit, right, throughout our civilization over here in the United States of America, right? Yep. And I said to him, I said, for a fraction of the amount of money that they spent on giving all these people this debt notes to go out and purchase food from their local supermarket, for a small fraction of that money, they could have educated people into growing their own food. They could have educated people into creating their own self-sustaining food growing environments. And it would have been done years ago.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even exist today.
Right. Yep.
For a fraction.
Yeah. And that was kind of what I was talking about at the very beginning. And we're about ready to go to break. So I'll just go out just reminding everybody that, I've been bringing wood chips and this black gold, as I call it, humic soil into my yard, and by the bucket loads, just filling up my Lexus with 2 giant 55-gallon tubs and driving it from the wood chip place downtown to my yard, and driving into my yard with my car and dumping it out where it goes, and then driving. So the neighbors are just like, what the hell is he doing? But dude, it's starting to look beautiful. I mean, I'm bringing in earthworms and black dirt and wood chips, and it is just, it's turning into a real food forest, kind of like what Jim Gale did with his giant piles of mulch, and then just spread it out and then let things just turn into the normal what it does, which it takes a little time, but it does. It turns into beautiful soil, which then just turns into life. So we're working on it, and that's our music. And so thank you guys for being here for the first hour. Stick around, come back in about 3 or 4 minutes after the break, and we will do the second hour with my friend St. John.
Nice.
Well, thank you for coming back to the second hour of the Jonathan Wright Show. And it's going to be a good second hour. I want to start off by talking about a little bit my process of going through extracting myself from this matrix that we all live in. One of the things that you must do, besides messing around with your birth certificate, is rescind the signature on your driver's license. Now, when you do this, you are basically surrendering your driver's license, and you're saying, I'm unsigning. Here is your little piece of plastic back that's called a license, which basically is you begging them for permission. Please, oh please, can I have your permission to drive around in a motor vehicle, which by definition is a self-propelled or electric vehicle, which then also puts you at the status of being an employee of the state. So, yeah, no, I'm almost ready to go rescind my signature on my driver's license, which means that, yeah, if I get pulled over sometime, I'm going to hand them this, which is an international driver's license, driver's permit.
It's actually blurry. Pull it back just a little bit. A little bit more, maybe. Yeah, right around there.
Okay.
So it's an international driver's license? Is that what you're saying?
It's an international driver permit. And here's my book that comes with it that also has my picture at the end, and I signed it with my human name. And so how that would go is if I choose to do this. Now, when I get my passport, that's what I would hand a cop every time anyway. But I have the right to give this to them because it says in this booklet that it's accepted in the United States. And it's clearly not used for that, not meant for that. But that's what I would use it for. And he would say, well, I'm not going to accept that, and I'm going to give you a ticket. And I would say, okay, give me a ticket. And then how I sign the ticket and what I write on the ticket when he hands it to me is whether or not I'm going to be in trouble for it, really, is ultimately how it comes down. Now, if they don't even allow you to sign it, which a lot of times now they are, they just basically print out a thing and hand it to you. And then what you do is you just have to know what to write across the ticket, which is basically something to the effect of no contract. We are not, I'm refusing this contract of any sort. And that's it. And you have to sign it with your human name and you send it in. And multiple people, there's a couple of Instagram channels where multiple people do this, and they show you what they wrote on their ticket. And then they say, I sent this in, and they sent it back. They sent a notice back saying it was dismissed. And then they actually went online and looked on the online docket to make sure that indeed it was still dismissed. And yes, it was. So, like I said, real remedy is coming from these crazies that I've been learning from and following, and they all have different methods and ways. And there's not one way of doing any of these things that I'm talking about. There's 10 ways of doing all of these things I'm talking about. And it's a matter of who do you want to listen to? And like, some people have more, I guess, success, right? Like have more success stories, have more receipts. The woman I follow primarily from Paths to Freedom, Tamika, man, dude, her shit is complicated, but it's like airtight and just full of people with like, I got remedy. And we're talking homes, mortgages, $100,000 student loan, $80,000 vehicles, just gone, legitimately, properly. And so,
right.
Yeah, anyway, just thought I'd share that on my process of doing all this, I've gotten my first step into it, which I have an international driving permit at this point. So I don't have to hand a cop anything. And if he says, I'm going to sign you a ticket, because you say you just ultimately, you don't really speak when you talk to cops. You just say, I don't answer questions. And then you say, I'm not trying to be rude or cause a problem, but like, if you can give me a good reason why I should forfeit my Fifth Amendment, but you can't. And so I don't answer any questions. And you have maybe even a little card besides your, whatever it is you're going to hand him, whether it's your passport or this. and a little card with some law statutes on it that are just like that steer him in the right direction. And then you can even say stuff on that card. Just don't speak. Because when you speak, if you mess up, you've contracted and you've done something dumb, and now he's over you. And it's just like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. And so that's why it's best in any kind of legal situation, you never get in trouble for something you don't say. So it's best to keep your mouth shut is what I'm learning more and more. And when you do have to speak, you should know what you're going to say and always be polite and courteous and trying not to be an ass or a dick and start fights. You want to, and so you just ask the cop politely, well, because they might be a dick. Dude, they might, no matter how nice you're being, he might still just be a pushy dick. And he's like, well, you're going to do this and I'm not going to take that. And that's just how it's going to be. And you say, so what are you going to do if I don't sign for this ticket? And he said, well, I'll arrest you. Okay, so then you sign for you don't argue, you just sign for the ticket, and you just sign, and you say at the top, under duress, all rights reserved without prejudice. Those are the first three things you sign above, and then you sign your name, and you sign it your full Jonathan Allen Wright, and that's my human name, and then there you go. That in and of itself will cancel the ticket. Yeah, legally. Now, if you do a couple other steps and write directly across the face of the ticket, now again, these are older tickets, so I don't know exactly how you would do it right now. You might not even get a chance to sign it when he hands it to you. He just hands it to you and walks away. At that point, you just have to know what to write on it, which is basically the same thing, and say, I'm not contracting with you at all, and this is invalid and null and void. And the reason that is because, again, if you don't have a driver's license, you are not contracted into that corporate codes that they're enforcing on you. Those codes that are being enforced are people that have contracted in and have a driver's license. And if you don't have a driver's license, they can't do that to you, which technically is why and how all the illegals get away with all this crazy shit. We're like, how come the illegals get to drive drunk? And how come the illegals don't get in trouble for? Because, dude, they're basically in this same status that I'm trying to get into. I mean, I'm trying to get into the illegal alien status. Basically, be a foreigner to the United States government. I have to do it a little differently because I didn't, but those people, if they knew what they were doing, which, I mean, probably the Democrats do on some level know what I'm talking about with all this shit. They probably don't know the exact details, but they know enough to know that if you took an illegal person and walked him into the country and then he just went up and declared himself a national of this state, whichever one he was standing in at the time, and he knew enough on how to word it right, he's in, and that's it. And now not only is he in, but he's in the status that I'm so desperately trying to get myself into, where it's kind of like he's like an untouchable. He's like one of those people that are like, above the law, literally. Well, and now here's where he hasn't done this, and this is what I am going to do, which separates me in that situation, is that when I get my birth certificate back authenticated, I'm going to register it in the common law courts. See, that's a big deal. Because then when the cops or anybody at court starts messing with you, you can say, look, dude, not only have I withdrawn from your system, but I've actually entered into what's the common law courts. Oh, well, now that's a whole different thing, because that's now saying you're not saying I'm above the law. That's like saying I'm governed by a different set of laws, which is common law, which is like as close to natural law as you're going to get out of our legal system. But it's not any of this statutes and codes and regulations crap that we're dealing with now. We're in Slavelandia right now. And if you take your shit out just a little bit and then move it over to here and hand it back to them that way and go, yeah, okay, I'll do this. And I mean, and again, because you're not fighting them and going, I'm not doing anything you say, you're totally illegitimate and middle finger to you. And you can do that and see how your life goes. Again, but if you realize you're in a video game and you found the cheat codes, just go along, dude. Play it like that. Put yourself in common law court, which if you know what common law is, you're like, oh yeah, that's what I agree to that. Very few people would disagree to the concepts of what common law is. And so you're like, well then cool. And now you've registered yourself in it by their little rules. And so now because you used their rules, they can't come at you. That you're literally no longer the slave you were 4 days ago before you registered your shit differently.
and dropped that old ID and said, I don't want to do that anymore, because you didn't know what it meant. You thought that it was just going to keep you from going to jail when the cop said, oh, no, driving with no license, I can put you in jail for that. I'm being nice by not putting you in jail right now. And if you have a passport, which is, if you read the passport thing, it says it's actually for travel within the United States and Canada. Like, that's what it's for. And so, oh, dude, we've just been doing it.
So I'm just gonna, like, just so that your listeners know, like, I dropped 2 links in the chat. The first one is a petition that my business partner and best friend and main support group member in my life, Bob Akoff from Perseverance.tech. We do, roof tarping. We use blue tarps, just so you know. We do roof tarping. We do clean outs, debris removal, in the event that you have some kind of natural disaster going on. He created this petition, and it's a very simple concept here to get people to sign on board, like to help stop the tyranny. Like, we just got to keep, like, everybody has to do something. Like, doing nothing is not going to work. The thing with taking your name off of the driver's licenses and things of that nature is very important, because, there's a lot of ways that they can harvest your organs. And, now they want you to, signify that you're a registered voter by having these ID cards in a lot of areas. So there's a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff. And,
yeah, and the more I've looked into this and kind of really geeked out on it quite a bit, the more I realize that this is kind of important stuff. It's not doing it just for the sake of saying you did it. It's like, it's really, even I was talking about this with Jamie J when I first was learning about it, and she was like, oh yeah, this is like on a spiritual level, like, we exist on a lot of planes right now. Our point of consciousness is right here and focused on this, seeing this third dimension right in front of us. But we really are a multi-dimensional happening all on a lot of different things right now. So for us to, realize that we're in a video game and go, oh, okay. And then be able to go, yep, well, I'm going to undo these bullshit rules that I've signed up for. No, I didn't. Whoa, I didn't know any of that. But now that you do know,
right.
I cannot. Right. I have literally, I'm on a 7-mile swim and I've swum out 4 miles. So to me, I can't go back. There's no way, there's no going back. It's like, I've got more to learn and more to do, and it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass. Your video dropped out, my friend, but I'm definitely going to continue going. There you are. I see you. Okay, good. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to keep going, and I'm definitely going to keep doing as much as I can until...
I was eating. I don't eat on camera. It's not polite.
Oh, I do. I don't care. But yeah, that's fine. So yeah, it's on, man. I've already started making strides, and it's just one little step. I went and got myself a private mailbox. Having a private mailbox means now that all my mail with my name on it is going to go to that private mailbox, which is a UPS. But they had to fill out a postal form and have it notarized to give authorization of me to have the post office send it to that new address. So now I'm not in federal jurisdiction anymore.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought that up. When I was living up north in Pennsylvania, I had my own little trailer in this park, and it was a recently established trailer. Like, they had just put it there, and I had purchased the trailer and I was living there, and they did not yet have a mailbox in front of it. And they were telling me that they were putting their mailbox, the mailbox up, and I said, I don't want it. They said, well, you got to have it. I said, well, I have no interest in getting mail here, so there's no reason for it. They're like, I have no purpose to have this mailbox here. And it literally turned into an argument where I could not refuse the mailbox. It had to be established. And I was like, and I never not once checked that mailbox. I never got mail there. Like, I had other mailing locations. I had like 4 or 5 different addresses at the time. So to have mail sent there was just another headache in my mind.
Yep. And that's a contract that state did with the federal government, because in Texas,
there are no mailboxes in front of houses in Texas. There's mailbox banks at the end of whatever.
Well, that's what
everywhere.
I'm saying. Yeah, so like that's how it is in a lot of the rural areas. Mailboxes aren't attached to the actual docile. They're further out.
That's
right. So here's the thing, right? Where I live now, I have a mailbox that's not directly in front of my house. It's one little strategic location on our block where everybody goes to get their mail. But I check that mailbox every day just as a matter of habit with the dog.
Sure.
Like it's a routine. Like she knows we're checking the mail, and so we go out there and she does her little rolling around in the dirt thing, and like we go back in the house. But like for her, it's an exciting thing because it's part of her duties in life, her job. Right? She's still a status. Like she wears her little American flag bandanas and. Like I can't get her to pick the yellow one or the purple one. She always wants to pick the red, white, and blue one.
Yeah.
Like she's a status, this dog.
Yeah, right.
She was raised by my brother. I ain't heard.
Yeah. She knows the vibe anyway, right? Yeah.
Right. She wants to. I'm gonna have to get one of the assembly flags and see if she'll pick that over the other bandana, just to see, because I let her pick her bandanas, like what outfit she's gonna wear when we go out the door to do stuff.
Right.
But like she's a funny dog, man. She's a statist at heart, man. She believes in American pie and hot dogs. She loves hot dogs, and like she wants to see the world change. Back to where it was when she was first, introduced to this lifetime. But, I don't see it going that way. But I say that to say this, right? So the mailbox thing, since I've been living here in the state of Florida consistently for almost a year, December it'll be a year. So it's been almost 10 months now, right?
Yeah.
And in the past 10 months, I've received a total of 4 pieces of mail, and of course, several boxes from Amazon and other, companies and organizations, right? So, like, I really don't get mail. It's not.
You could put that in the name of a company too.
And the interesting thing is the mail was, some kind of a notice regarding my water system or some kind of a notice regarding taxes that have to be paid on my property. So, like these are the only pieces of mail I get. I don't get regular snail mail from anybody anymore,
Right.
My mom will send me the occasional package, whatever. But I also, as we're rounding the last hour of this broadcast, I dropped in the chat also the link for the seed metamorphosis conference that's going on. For those that are interested, there's a fine group of freedom-loving, truth-seeking individuals who are over there utilizing all of their talents and skills trying to put together yet another conference. I think this is their 5th one. And they've been putting these conferences out, right around the solstices, so that people can, come to some type of level of truth or awareness concerning what's going on.
These are power dates, regardless of whether somebody's using it for good or bad. I mean, it's kind of like why the bad guys do it on those days is because they're smart enough to recognize that these are power days. And so they're going to utilize as much of that as they can to do their dark shit. What we need to do is the exact same thing, just for positive.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So awesome.
For our listening audience,
yes.
If anyone ever has any questions or wants to get in touch with me, I'm easy to find. Hashtag by St. John. Hashtag domestic tarotist. Not terrorist, tarotist.
TARROIST.
Right. Hashtag principle of care. Hashtag die nasty recovery lifestyle. These are all the ways that you can find my work. I would specifically list platforms, but that would be a waste of time and effort on my part and yours because they keep evolving and changing. And I figured the hashtags are more fluent. You'll always be able to find me somewhere.
Yep. Definitely. And I mean, for sure within this realm that of me, because I keep you close because I like chatting with you, and I like where our discussions go, and I like the stuff that we talk about. So it makes it it makes it something that you'll definitely be able to find St. John through my outlets as well, because I always post our shows and etc.
Sure.
So,
And I appreciate you, Jonathan, for your efforts.
thanks, man. I do you as well. And yeah, it's like you said, man. This is one of those things where I just feel like I'm in a position where I was put in a position where my main job is to take care of my mom. And for who and what I am, it's a lot, but it's like I still have a whole lot left that I can do. So, and over the course of about a year and a half, it pretty much took it to the point where I'm here 24/7, and there's no way around that. Like I can leave for little bits in time here to go to the store or something, but I can't go away. I can't go overnight anywhere, and I certainly can't go away for half a day. So it's just like it is what it is, but it leaves me the opportunity to really get on the computer, to have a radio show, to look stuff up, to research. Man, I would have never been able to explain all this stuff about all the ID and the matrix and how to exit it. And I figure I'm pretty good at explaining shit. So when I really figure this out and learn how to go through it and do it, I'll be able to explain it on such a simple level to people. Because it's been simplified pretty well to the point where it's explained to me. It's just that the volume of stuff is just so astronomical. There's so much shit to talk about, and it's, oh my God. And you can tell when these teachers are going, this one that I listen to mostly, she'll mention a sentence and you realize that's a whole another 2.5 hour video that she's not even going to probably do a video on. That's just like, holy shit, this woman knows. Like, and again, it's just 10 years ago, she got screwed and was like slowly started figuring shit out and has pieced together this whole puzzle of here's one way to stop getting screwed by these people using their own words and their own laws. And it's like, wow. So anyway, it's fascinating. It's a lot of effort and a lot of energy. But again, I'm doing it because I feel like if I can figure it out, it's certainly not just for me. I don't really need it that much. I mean, I do, right? I don't want to pay bills. I want to have my bills discharged against my name through the federal government the way it's supposed to be. And I want to have that for everyone, though. I want everyone to have that because this is bullshit and we're being screwed. So if I can figure it out and then make it a very simple explanation the best I can, that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where we are with that. And that's
right.
So that's why every show I bring up, I'll keep an update and going, because I'm now actually, instead of just talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, like I've actually started rolling forward a little bit, even though it might not be that much and that fast. It's still, I have moved forward. I've started the process. And again, when you do that, you're telling the universe, I'm doing this, and you're starting to make real ripples. And like it's interesting. It's interesting. But yep.
Right.
Got my international driving permit. It's fucking cool. So.
That's cool. I can print out 10 of them a day for everyone I know if I want to.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it doesn't
you totally
matter because I'm not identifying myself unless I want to identify myself. And if I feel like pulling out some kind of form of ID, then I will. If not, I won't.
Right.
But, here's the other thing, guys. Like we haven't really touched on it, but it is a topic that's going on right now. In mainstream, they're talking a lot about the deep fakes and the AIs. And, there was a picture circulating this month around about Michelle Obama, okay, and how she was pregnant. And the alleged statement was that this came from her personal collection of when she was pregnant and da-da-da-da-da. We know that she can't be pregnant because she's a man. We all know that. So we're not going to even address that end of it. But I want you guys to understand that this is a strategy that they utilized. Okay. They put this out there. They are the creators of this. The Obamas themselves and the people that are working with the Obamas did this intentionally. Okay. And made it look like it came from her. Okay. So that people would come to the realization that anything and everything that you see online has the ability or the possibility of being tainted or is a fake creation. Because what they want to do is they want to prevent us from believing anything that actually will come out in the next couple of weeks about these people. Because there's about to be a real shitstorm of flooding with the deep fakes and everything else. It's one of the reasons why Elon's trying to get people to switch over to a pay service so that they can prevent the bots and these people from trolling and the deep fakes that go on. They're trying to prevent those kind of things. But I look at it this way. I watched somebody write some comment on some social platform the other day. It said, you know, like, oh, it's a great thing, you know, like that he's doing that because, you know, like, you know, it'll prevent the troll, and like we'll be, you know, we won't be. The statement had something along the lines of, we won't be the product because we're paying for the service. Like, you know, because when you don't pay for a service, as you've seen with Facebook and a lot of these other ones, you're bombarded with ads, your privacy sold and bought and transferred and stolen, and they try to give you a $35 check, right, saying that that's what your privacy was worth to them. Right? Facebook just did that. They announced they had some kind of major lawsuit, 735 million or whatever, and everybody's going to get a check for $35 because the privacy was sold, right? So your privacy is worth $35 to them. And I want you to think about that in terms of when you go to the supermarket and you purchase your meats or your foods, you know, what $35 looks like in your shopping cart. Okay, that's what your privacy is worth to these people. Yeah. So the statement, you know, was going along the lines of, well, by paying for the service, we wouldn't be the product anymore. I said, that's bullshit. Now they just figured out a new way to get you to still be the product and pay to be the product. Now you're paying to be the product. Yep. So I'm going to say that there's going to be a mass, what's the word? When you leave something.
Exodus,
that's the word. There's going to be a mass exodus from some of these platforms because people are not going to pay. People are just not going to pay. It's like Patreon. You've seen Patreon go down over the years because people are not willing to pay people for what should be free and rightfully available to the masses. There's nothing in any of my sites or platforms or website or anything else that has anything to do with me getting you to pay for anything.
Right.
Okay. There's no service. There's no fees. There's no memberships to sign up for. Yeah. There's no joining newsletters or any of this crap. The stuff's there. You come and watch it or you don't. Right. That's your choice. That's your choice as a viewer, as a content consumer. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm involved with platforms that do advertising and promotions and all that crap going on in the background. But I would be real leery and suspect of anyone who stands in front of you and says that it's going to cost you money to get your life straightened out. It's going to cost you money to subscribe or to be a part of any type of freedom or real truth movements. This is something that you should be highly suspect of, and you are not going to be able to pay. Ask any multi-billionaire who's contacted a strong.
Oh, froze up. You'll come back. It'll come back. Are you there? You froze up, but there, it'll be back. Is it back? Well, I wonder what happened. I wonder if we're going to have, I wonder if I'm on the radio. I don't know. I do not know. Oh, cool. I see that there's a post from, what is that? Maced? 39? 139? No, Maced. Yeah, 139. About the driver's license thing. Man, John, where are you at, brother? I might have to remove you from the call and then bring you back on. Let's do that. Yep. Perfect. So I took him out of the call. And then now let's put you back in the call. Let's see if this works.
Wow.
There you are.
Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
My
yep.
internet just totally dropped.
Oh wow.
Totally gone.
Yep.
Totally gone. So
Yeah, that's bogus.
anyway,
I figured
it's,
that's
it's
what would happen.
very choppy right now. So I don't even know if you can hear me. So
I can.
yeah, this is what we're talking about here, guys. This is exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
You know, but be ready, be vigilant, be on guard. Have your tarps, your blue tarps ready. Have your rolls of tinfoil ready. Have your willingness to break your phone and throw it into the river.
Yep. Just
right?
like in the movies. Just like in the movies. That's why they've shown us this so much in the movies, like how people answer their phone and then all of a sudden they go, oh, and then they freak out. Remember the Stephen King movie with John Cusack was in that, and it was it was called the. Damn, I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
the host,
and John Carpenter movies.
The Cell.
You know,
it's called The Cell.
The Cell. The John Carpenter movie, They Live. Like,
yeah,
this is all real. This is real time right now. This is playing out in real time right now. 1984, and They Live. It's playing out in real time. I seen an unconfirmed report this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning over there in the UK. There's bands of people running around and ripping down the CCTV cameras. They don't want you to know that people are running around doing that stuff. They do not want you guys to know this, that if you go ahead and you rip down those cameras and you rebel against the system, that, you know, like that, you know, they don't want the uprising to be televised. The revolution is not being televised, and it's going on all around us. You got people in Morocco, people in Libya, people in Hawaii right now. Where's the kids? Where's the kids, man? Seriously. Bodies of the kids or kids, period. Max Egan just put a thing out the other day. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. He did a fantastic breakdown of the Maui situation. He showed you the most recent satellite videos of all those missing buses from the schools over there.
Yeah.
All the missing buses located at an abandoned airfield.
Yep. I did see that. Yep.
Right on the edge of Hawaii, right there, right, you know, like
and
where
those,
are
and those
the
two buildings that are right near it that have the tunnels?
Yeah. He broke all that down. He was talking about all that stuff and how they keep repainting the wall of all the missing kids over the years.
Yeah.
Because they don't want people to know how many children just keep constantly disappearing. Constant. Yeah. It's a constant thing.
Yeah.
In America, there's been over 800,000 missing kids a year for the past several years. Where are these kids? Yeah. You've got foster systems where 70 to 90% of the kids turn out missing. Okay? That's ridiculous. In some areas, 70 to 90% of the children involved with the foster care systems
after it kind of goes on,
they just disappear. Now, I'm not saying all of them were, you know, hijacked and consumed in a different way or another, but what I'm saying is that, like, the system failed so much that they ran off. They said we had enough. A lot of them end up in the streets in your inner cities. A friend of mine interviewed an 18-year-old the other day. She was involved with the foster care system out in California. Now she's down in Kensington shooting drugs. That's her lifestyle choice now. You know, like this is the amount of trauma that people have suffered. And, you know, like, you know, that's the one thing about natural law, you know, all is mind and, you know, the karma and all this other stuff. You know, like, we just have to come to the realization that some people are not going to get it this trip. They're going to have to come back and fall victim to the reincarnation soul trap that this system, this matrix has provided for us, where we keep coming back through and we keep fighting and we keep, you know, evolving and growing and learning. And then we die and we go in front of these superior beings who run the universe, the true gods of our creation here. And they stand there and they shame you and guilt you into believing that you are in need of more fulfillment. You are in need of more completion in order to move on from this system. I got news for you. That's hogwash. That's bullshit. Okay? You could pay your karma back in a totally different system. It doesn't have to be this one. Okay? You do not have to keep coming back through this reincarnation soul trap. You can leave and exit the matrix.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, just in that same concept, like, to think that you're going to go and live another life like this, as an example, to make up for anything that you did in this life, like, you're only going to create more negative karma. Like, it's impossible to go through a life with the concept of trying to do it for something you did in a previous life. Although I'm not saying that there's not karma that doesn't follow you around. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for you to be presented with the concept, hey, you messed up this time. Here's an option. Go back and try to do it again, and then you can, hey, work off your karma. And it's like, no, dude. The answer to that is no, because if I go back and do that same shit again, like I just did, I'm not going back as Jesus. So I'm gonna come back out and mess up for a long time again, probably, and create more karma. Which then, when I die that time, then you're gonna say, oh, and then do you now see the cycle? And it's like, so it's a never-ending thing. So yeah, you have to at some point rise above it, and truly, like, when you aren't ready to get out of here, you won't. I mean, your higher self, we chose to come here for some reason, and the ones that won't leave, truly, on their higher self level, need what's going on here to learn. It's like, well, I mean, you don't want to go get in a ring with a bunch of MMA badasses until you can at least beat up the local street thugs. Right? So you go get in some street fights around your neighborhood and just like, okay, well, dude, if I can't handle these guys, I'm not going to get into a ring with trained people.
Right.
So it's the same concept.
Right. Exactly. I see that we did have a couple people making some comments in regards to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And that's great, man. Thanks, guys, for participating in our discussion here.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you guys have any links or any information that you think might be pertinent to what we're talking about, please drop them in this chat. I see there's a lot of nonsense in that chat from the other show. Not to speak badly about that show. I have no idea what's going on over there. But I do see a lot of backbiting and attacks on individuals. Like, this is the stuff that has to stop, guys. Like, this is nonsense. Like, you are not contributing to the revolution. You are not contributing to the ascension process in your own personal life. You're not contributing to any of that stuff by attacking others. It's not going to work that way. Yeah. And I feel sorry for those that are coming to the realization and becoming more awake today. Those that are trapped within the system, and they feel like there's no way out and there's no solution for them. That let me be the example. Let me be the one to tell you that there is a way out. There is a solution. And it's getting more in alignment with nature. It's getting more in alignment with natural laws and principles. It's getting more in alignment with unity and working with others. Okay? These are the solutions. They're very simple solutions. It's not like rocket science. It's not like this complicated algorithmic, I've got to learn some kind of ancient cultured belief system and study and follow and get down on my knees and pray every day. No. It's very simple. Unity, harmony, love, freedom, natural.
And one other thing to that is to stop complying with the system that is currently. Yeah. That's a big part of it too. Like, you can't just want all this in your mind and in your heart and then do what a evil system is asking you to do when you know it's wrong. You have to. That's how you fight back, even if it's just by stop again. And that's why I've chosen to back myself out of all the contracts that I'm in with these people and say nope. And then when I say no, and they come to me and go, you're supposed to be doing this, and I'll go nope. And you can't find anything in your records that say I should. And then they mess off. And then so beyond that, though, it's absolutely, it's taking control of your understanding of things, like John said, and getting yourself on an understanding mentally and spiritually that, what you want to do, and working together and trying to create this thing. But you can't, that it'll literally be the dichotomy where if you're trying to do what they tell you to do and then do this other thing, they won't go together. So you're going to have to stop complying with the system.
Absolutely. And I'll drop my website in here for anybody that wants to go check out my work. you'll see what I've been up to over the past couple years. It's evolved quite a bit. I haven't been able to update it over the past couple of weeks with all the stuff going on concerning the ritual sacrifice and what we're caught in right now with the September 23rd stuff and the launch of all their programs. This is not a drill, guys. These are not drills anymore. The drills are over. This is live. They went live. This is a real live activity going on here. If you want to see more about weather weapons and the actual flight patterns of them and what's been going on with that, you can visit this guy over here. He keeps a pretty good rein on what's been going on. I'm gonna drop his channel in the links too, because he's really good. He's a statist. He doesn't see everything truly clearly yet, but he's working on it. And the other part of it is that, you know, he's not just working on it. He's coming to the realization in real time online as he's giving these broadcasts about, you know, troop movements and the intelligence aircraft that are moving around and the drones and all this other stuff. He's got this going on the right way, man. It's called Monkey Works. I just dropped it in there. You guys can go check that out. So, yeah, man.
Cool.
There's another guy. His name's Professor Doom. I don't know if anybody watches him. He's pretty good. He's got some good stuff going on. But these platforms are evaporating in front of us. The participation. It's so hard to get somebody just to hit the like button on any of your content.
I know.
You know, it's the most ridiculous thing. Somebody will sit there and literally watch through your entire, 30 or 40 or 1 hour or 2 hour broadcast and enjoy it and still not even hit the like button or tell anybody around them about it. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever seen. My broadcasts lately have specifically been about trying to save your life because you're in peril. You're in immediate danger from the live activities by the military and the industrial technocratic complex that's going on out there.
Yeah.
They want you dead. They want you dead. That's their objective, to murder you and videotape it and watch it and enjoy it. I don't know how they do that. I don't understand why they do that. Why can't you just leave us the hell alone?
I know.
Why can't you just leave us be, people? Like, you've got all this money and all this ability, and you still want to come after us, the little guy, the nobodies at the bottom of the pole.
Yeah, because we're the ones in the way. We're the useless eaters, not involved in their weird. God, can you even imagine what their utopia would be like? Can you imagine what it must? I mean, I'll give you. It would be very close to the end of the first movie of Hunger Games. That those psychos with the weird shit on their heads wandering around in that city and then surrounded by just people eating each other. That's actually, I think, about what their world would look like. But I mean, dude, really, like that's not a sustainable thing. Like, you can make a movie about it and go, oh, here's how things are in this movie. It's like, well, but yeah, for how long? I mean, dude, that's not sustainable.
Right.
So, this utopic idea is what they sell to each other amongst themselves to get the minions to do this stuff to us, thinking that they're not doing it to themselves. Because that's the only way that you get people to do this kind of shit is they've somehow believed that they're not being affected by the stuff they're doing. Like, no, dude, you're eating your own children's lunch. Do you understand that? Like, you're screwing your whole everything about you. You're getting me too. Yeah, good for you. But you're getting yourself and your family, dude. You're wiping everyone out. Like, that's. And to me, it's almost like these people are so mentally midget. They're so dumb and so spiritually defunct that they just feel like there's no hope. So they're drowning. So they may as well just reach onto and latch onto as many people as they can and just drown with them. You're going to all drown with me. It's like, God, you're trash. Trash.
Yeah. A lot of garbage. Whole lot of garbage going on.
Yeah. And they're delusional. They think, see, this is why I'm so interested in learning about money, because it's all made up. And most of these people worship money. Oh my God, money. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Here's $1 million. Sell your fellow human out. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Those trash. And I mean, hey, a case can be made. There's trash out there. Yep. But that doesn't mean you just turn on everyone and you just indistinctly spray shit on them from a plane because that's what your schedule says. Your schedule says, well, now today at this time we're gonna spray this right over here. Sorry, folks, because you know what's in that stuff you're spraying.
Right, and we talked about this in the last time I was on your show here, Jonathan, with the spraying and all. The whole thing with the drones and the AI is they're working on removing the humans from the equation, so that there is no whistleblowers, so that there is no moral decency involved with a decision-making process. You know, we had the movie screening the other day over there in Central Florida. We had a mixed bag. We had some leftists in the room, right? We had a police officer, some current and ex-military showed up, you know, and like, of course, I want to like act like I'm getting ready to run. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh God, what'd I do? Oh, they found me.
To make, yeah. They're here monitoring us, right? But no, so I say that because, you know, like people are waking up no matter what part of the system they're entrapped in. And, you know, like
at some point, slavery starts to feel like slavery.
My question to the active police officer was very simple. I said, I thanked him for his service, okay, first and foremost, because they don't understand that they're trapped in a matrix that's designed to kill us. They don't understand that. So I thanked him for his service, and I immediately followed that up with, you know, like, what's it like to work for the enemy today? Because I've worked for the enemy, so I know, right? The enemy against humanity. I said, when you arrive at a scene and you're involved with something, you use your morality in every decision-making process that you have. You know, every situation has a different, you know, variables involved in situations. But when you arrive, you bring your human emotional intelligence with you. You can't leave that on a shelf somewhere. So like when I saw the cops running out into the middle of the road and blocking cars from people going in to try to save their kids, I dare you to step in front of my vehicle in an emergency situation. I dare you. Yeah. I double dog, triple dog dare you to step in front of my vehicle when I'm in the process of trying to save the life of a friend or a colleague or anyone.
Right.
I dare you. You're going to get run the hell over. I promise you, you are going to be a body laying on the side of the road, another victim, another casualty in the war against humanity. That's where you're going to be. I promise you that. And I'm not a violent person. I am the epitome of anti-violence. All my broadcasts lately start off with the disclaimer: this is not to promote acts of violence, but I promise you, I will match your energy. You show up at my doorstep, you step in front of my vehicle, you do anything that contradicts rightful, lawful action. I'm not talking about lawful under man's law. I'm talking under natural law. If you step in front of my vehicle while I'm trying to save a family member or my friend, you're done. It's over for you. You're going to get run the hell over. And all that screaming and hollering and denying me access and all that shit, that's not going to work. I'm not even going to give you the opportunity to talk to me because I know what side of the fence you're on. I know what side of the fence you're on. You step in front of my vehicle while I'm trying to rescue a neighbor's kid. I don't give a shit whose kid it is. If I'm trying to rescue somebody and you step in the way and you become part of the problem instead of adding to the solution, you're going to become a victim. You're going to become a victim immediately.
Yep. Yeah, and as far as, just to go back to what you were saying, as far as that lawful is the correct term. See, legal. That's the snaky, slimy term. Is it legal? Oh, well, see, the definition of the word legal is actually to undo God's law.
It is.
And therein lies the actual law. So lawful, when they say lawful and legal, so lawful is like, is it right?
Right.
Legal is like, well, we wrote some shit down and it goes in with what we wrote, so that's legal.
Right.
I say screw that, but that's the terms.
So if
legal tender versus lawful money.
If my property burns to the ground, I'm going to have a tent pitched up on it. You're not going to declare my house natural waste zone. You're not going to
Right.
say I don't have resource. You're not going to do none of that. I'm going to defend my ground. I promise you I'm going to defend my ground. You come banging on my door talking about evacuations. You come banging on my door talking about, you know, this is where we're at and this is what has to go on and da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to say, no, thank you. I don't need your services. And that's even if I open the door.
That's
and the
right.
door's closing. The door's closing after that. You've got a problem with that? You want to test me to find out if I got bit by a tick? You want to test me and find out if I got the latest strain of whatever? I don't give a rat's ass what your purpose is on my doorstep.
Yep.
You come
If
to
I
my
know
door
shit
with
like
that
that's coming, I'm
nonsense,
gonna go
you're
out and
getting-
post a sign in my yard before, like when I know, oh, they're going door to door. Poop. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna put a big sign in my yard. So that's already, that's step one. And then you just have a loudspeaker or a bullhorn, and when you see him coming, you be like, you're trespassing. And then the third one is like, I'm firing. I mean, dude, if they're gonna come kick your door in, I'm gonna be
I
there
don't
with
need
my
weapons. That's the part that people don't understand. I don't need weapons. I will take your weapon from you.
Well, in that
How
regard,
about
yeah.
that? How about that one? If you come at me with a weapon, I don't need to be armed. I got two options. I can either run or I can attack. And guess what my option is going to be? It depends on how close I am to you.
Yeah,
But,
that's
you know,
right.
like, again, we're talking about, you know, third world weaponry. You know, third world weaponry is AK-47s and SKSs and Glock 9s and Uzis. That's
Right.
third world weapons. They're utilizing weapons that you don't even understand the technology behind it.
Yeah.
So you got to have yourself stealthily protected, like that Obama picture that I shared with you guys over there in
Right.
Rick's broadcast, where he's all decked out with the antennas on his head and
Yeah.
the reflective stealth technology that he has, so that frequencies and lasers can't penetrate that suit.
Right.
That's what's going on there.
Yeah,
Like, you
and
guys
then they
gotta
walk
see this
around
shit
like the
for what it
gods
is.
they think they are. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time humanity suffered this. You go back and you look at the resets with the mud floods in Tartarian. Look at the Aztecs. Why would all these people just willingly kill themselves talking about it's the end of the world? They did that because the people in charge had total control over their minds and told them that the world was ending. The world was ending. And guess what they did? They all lined up and sacrificed themselves. That's what the 30, 60,000 guillotines are lined up for. That's what the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of FEMA 8 bodies to a coffin, plastic coffins in Georgia that have been dispersed around the country. This is what they're all planning. This is what their game is.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to convince you through mind control, through their latest technologies, that killing yourself or willingly walking to the slaughter for the sacrifice is the option. Well,
I think a lot of people have already done that when they went and got the vaccine, and now it's a matter of waiting for that pulse, those 3 1-minute pulses of the 18 gigahertz, and then it's like, okay, now it's on, and they're gonna need stacks of coffins that hold 8 for that event.
Yeah, and remember, they redid all the systems in the hospitals and the schools, and that's where it's going to start, guys. They're going to make it look like, they're going to make it in the inner cities, they're going to make it look like it's rampant, it's running through the school systems, but you pay attention to whatever this next outbreak looks like. It's going to be a lot of scattered different things. They're going to use different frequencies to do different things. Some of it's going to look respiratory. Some of it's going to look like Marburg and the monkeypox. Okay, it's going to look like all these different things, but that's not what they're not isolated incidents. They're all engineered and designed by the developers of these technologies and their agenda, and they're going to be lockstep with it. Be ready, guys. The next 45 days or so are going to be the worst that humanity's ever seen, and this is going to be the long cold winter that everyone's been talking about for years. This is the winter. This is when it happens.
I agree.
I send my prayers and positive intentions out to everyone in the Hudson River Valley area, in New York area, New York City, all the surrounding communities, Wilmington, Delaware, Camden, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C. You guys are going to be underwater after the next couple of days. I feel for you. I hope you have a plan. I hope you are ready for what's about to unleash.
Yeah. And for everybody out there listening, take peace and strength with you as you go about this next, I'd say, truly the rest of this year. I think this is going to be our true test, and we're going to have to prove our resolve with this
and
next
make a decision. Are we going to, for the ones that are left, are we going to be a part of this, or are we going to walk away from it? And I think we already know the answer to that.
Yeah. So
Some of
take
us
take
do.
the best with you and put the best out there and do your best to, honestly, at this point, you're laying down your life to make things better. If you get to manage to not go down in that process, to keep going. But that's how you look at this. This is an all-in situation because they are already all in against you. So you're already dead in their mind. So you may as well act that way and act with nothing but forward and upward momentum to get back towards God. We have slipped and fallen away. Let's get back towards it. Thanks for being
Thank you,
here on the
guys.
Jonathan Wright
Thanks for
Show.
having
Thanks, John, for being here. Yeah, thank you guys. I'll be here at the same time next week, next Saturday. And Crypt Rick and me will be here on Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m., Studio A. Talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.